5 things I wish I knew as a domestic employer. Happy International Women's Day. In line with the International Women's Month theme and International Women's Day, I'm giving and I'm hoping you're gaining, and I'm going to just hold space for women who, in pursuit of their visions and their dreams and their passions, which are absolutely valid, need the assistance of domestic workers in their homes. I'm speaking directly to domestic employers. For the next few weeks, I'm going to be sharing truths, insights, tips, just knowledge to help you reduce your domestic worker turnover so that you stop changing domestic workers and that you can retain them. But more importantly, so that you can do it in a way that dignifies the work that these amazing people do that we often take for granted, right? And also in a way that empowers you to empower them. I'll just start by saying that domestic work, as we know it in Nigeria and many parts of Africa, is rooted in originally slavery, right? A time was when people had like slaves, either by reason of conquest or, whatever reason, and these people had little or no say in what happened to their lives. And gradually, it later evolved into families helping other families who could not afford to send their children to school, right? And that's the world a lot of us who are currently having domestic workers were born into, is that you probably lived in a home where your parents who had the wherewithal would have like your daddy's brother's children, or your mommy's brother, or a cousin's child who were down on their luck, send their kids over to your house, and you watched them be a part of your family somehow. But in exchange for the work that they did at home, your parents probably sent them to school and catered to their basic needs. The first things I would like to let you know is the world we were born in no longer exists. Things have changed. And right now, the emphasis is on the dignity of the human person, and domestic workers are not exempt. So I just wanted to put that out there so that when we start to have these very difficult conversations, you will know where I'm coming from. Ahead of time, I want to also let you know that I would offend you. I would say things that you're just like, how dare she say it? But it's the truth. So bear with me ahead of time, and let's just walk this journey of breaking away from faulty mindsets and creating a space where we can hold space even for domestic workers, because most of them are mainly girls and women. Number one, we're not doing them a favor. I know it sounds very weird and it goes against everything you believe in, but I promise you, we're not doing them a favor. These girls, or men in some cases, are offering their labor, their services, and we're paying them. If you can agree with that, it changes a lot of things. So when I see videos where it looks like you're giving them food and you're giving them a place to dwell that's way better than where they're coming from, you're not really doing them a favor. You're creating a space for them to serve you, right? So if we can change that mindset, it changes a lot of things, right? It's an employer-employee relationship. I know that there are power dynamics, and it's not lost on me. I'm not oblivious of that. I know that you probably have the upper hand because you're the one giving them the money. But if we start to really consider the work that these people do for us, you would appreciate their work better. And nobody appreciates the work of a domestic worker like someone who has lived in Nigeria, for example, used and enjoyed the services of these people. Then you find yourself in a Western culture where to afford a domestic staff will cost you your liver, half of your kidney, before you can afford somebody to come in and live with you. In Africa, we live with so much luxury, we don't even know what we have until you live it. And then you go and you're like, boy, girl. Yeah. Anyway, you're not doing them a favor. Tip number 2, can we be honest? But our expectations are sometimes unrealistic. I have heard people say, oh, I'm looking for a professional nanny. Where did they get the professionalism from? Right? So whether it's by virtue of their age or their experience or their exposure, the things we expect from these girls or women is totally misaligned with where they're coming from. I just want to say that an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 12-year, even a 15-year-old, in most cases, have no business being domestic workers. They're still children. And if for any reason you have these people in your house, the expectations you have from them are sometimes unreasonable, unrealistic, and very mean. So you want an 8-year-old to hold your baby for you. Can we be more human about our expectation? We want these people to come from villages where they don't use cookers and they've never used AC, and we want them to just transform, and we're giving them a few months, right, to adapt. It doesn't really happen that way. It takes a lot for them to get to where they need to be, right? So it's not necessarily unrealistic because they would never get there. The time frame within which we give these people to adjust is just sometimes unreasonable. You have to train them. When they come, you're like, you sabi wash clothes, you can work, you sabi wash clothes. If you bath Pekin, they can. They honestly can. It just will not be the way we want it to be. And so it requires us to train and train and train and keep training again and again. Otherwise, what happens is that oftentimes we get frustrated, we get so annoyed, and then we start to hit. It becomes a very abusive relationship, and it just doesn't end well for them. So let's manage our expectations, shall we? Tip number 3. Oh gosh, your domestic worker is not your child. They're not your sibling. They're not like sisters to you. It's a typical employer-employee relationship. And once you blow that line, once you forget about what I just said, things get bad really fast. Things get blurry really fast. The nature of the domestic worker and domestic employer relationship, by nature, at its very core, is one that breeds contempt easily. Because these people see you at your least, in your most vulnerable states, you're in your hair bonnet, pajamas, they see you cry, they see you laugh, they see you when you're happy, they hear you talk about your family, talk with your family, gossip other people's families, right? So they see you literally finish by that is at its core. Now adding another layer where you start to treat them as your children or like your siblings, it blurs the lines really fast. There must be boundaries, and I'm going to talk about that in the coming weeks. You have to put in place certain boundaries to ensure that it remains a cordial but professional relationship. So they're not your children. They will never be. It's a hard truth, but it is what it is. Tip number 4: your home culture will shape their performance. Ladies, women, mothers, if your house is chaotic, you will reap chaos from your domestic worker. There are no two ways about it. If you don't have the required systems, structures, processes to protect your home, to shield it from chaos. If you literally just wake up in the morning and you're like, what are we cooking this morning? Oh yeah, run. Go and buy tomato for me. Let's make egg. That's the kind of result you'll be getting where there is no planning, there's no structure. Your domestic workers do not have break time. They're working around the clock. You will burn out, they will burn out, and we will start to have those difficult conversations, and they would leave, and you will get the next person, and they would leave again, because your home culture needs to be reworked entirely for these people to know that they are doing a proper service and serve you the way you desire. And the last but not the least, this is something I feel will be obvious, but apparently it's not obvious, but your recruitment process determines the quality of people you attract. If you're always getting domestic workers casually, suddenly, you would get that same result. If you're always waiting for the last minute, if you don't plan for it, you would get the caliber of people that your recruitment process attracts. Simple. I just want to say that the recruitment process is as important as the person you're getting. If you're just saying, Mama, please, as you're coming for Mugo, bring one girl for me, you would have that kind of person. And it might work, it might not work, depending on what your expectations are. If you have like minimal expectations, you just need someone to hold the baby so they can take your bath. Maybe it will work. But if you have like very high expectations, then your recruitment processes must show that. For recruitment processes, it's not just getting the people, it's onboarding them. It's creating a structure, it's creating a system of consistent training, it's creating hierarchy for communications, channels of communications, channels of checkmating even your system. Your systems need to be checked often. What's working? Okay, this system I have in place, maybe it worked for the driver because of his level of education. I might need to downplay it a bit for this person because, do you see, it's a bit complex. But stay with me, and in the next few weeks I will walk us through certain tips that would help you have a more structured house that can be more accommodating of domestic workers so that you can pursue your dreams and your passion and just hold space even for them, right? And for other women. Before I leave, what's the biggest challenge you're currently having with your domestic worker? What's that thing you're like, if she can change or if he can change, I feel like our relationship will be better? Put it in the comment section. Don't forget to share this video with someone who has come to tell you about how much the domestic workers are driving them crazy. And let's hold space together. Happy International Women's Month, my dears. Ciao, ciao.